Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Taheer, Daya, and I'm your host of T-Dot's Talent. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening is simply because I do not know what time you're watching this at. So today's guest is an absolutely incredible and very talented individual, as are all of our guests. He is, it's a little bit different as our usual guest that we've had on our show so far. He is a poet. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what, let me just show you, without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Virus, the poet. Hey Virus, how you doing?
How's it going, man?
Nice to see you, bud.
Nice to meet you, man.
Likewise. Thank you very much for coming on to the show today.
No problem.
I definitely appreciate it. Another cool thing about today's show and today's episode is we're outdoors again, which is totally cool.
It's cool. It's always a good day.
His idea, by the way.
Yeah, I like the outdoors.
I like the outdoors too.
Fresh air, different scenery.
Oh, for sure. Do you ever go camping or anything like that?
I have gone camping in Scotland, but...
You've been to Scotland?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm an avid traveler, so
that's pretty cool.
Quite a bit of places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So is it like, do you travel over like the UK or anything like that?
I traveled everywhere. UK, India,
Nice.
Paris. Yeah,
Wow.
the States, Miami, LA, yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I myself have never been to Scotland. I'm kind of like a beach guy.
Okay.
So I've been to Dominican and Jamaica, and
Nice,
down south, down there,
Islands.
yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And beautiful places as well. The one cool thing, we were talking backstage earlier, actually, and I was saying that a lot of you guys don't know the talents that I hold. One of them that I did not mention to you was accents as well.
Okay.
One of the great accents that I could do is Scottish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll show you a little bit after.
Sounds good.
But yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Taheer, if that's even your real name. What exactly does value mean to you? Because let me tell you, for me, it's really plain and simple. Some people may think it's money. Some people may think it's assets. I personally think, plain and simple, it's care. And if you got some care, we're good to go.
Yeah, man. So you're a poet, which is totally cool.
Yep.
I absolutely love it. Tell me a little bit about when you started getting into poetry.
I've been writing a long time. When I was going to Ryerson, I was writing before then, not as much. And then
University.
Ryerson University. I was at Ryerson, and I started writing. I was taking the bus to work and to school, so I had free time to kill and started writing. And I'm a big hip hop listener.
Cool.
And I like R&B and hip hop, so that's an influence in it. You can hear it, but I was strictly a poet. I'm not a musical artist.
Cool.
But yeah, I started writing, and then it developed into more poetry and just the thought process and observations and different things that you see and you observe and your interactions, your personal interactions.
Right.
And you just write upon it.
That's awesome. So now you say you're not much of a musician yourself, but when it comes to your poetry, do you think that maybe listening, because you said you were an avid hip hop listener, do you find that sort of inspired you maybe to start getting into maybe
most
writing
definitely.
some poetry?
Yeah, most definitely.
Cool,
yeah,
man.
I mean, if you really think about it, rappers, singers, they're all poets.
Yes,
they
are.
Right? They just do it with a beat.
Exactly. That's right.
I can't do it with a beat. I'm not good with the beat. And my poetry is more for the message that I'm sending.
Yes.
I want people to actually listen to what I'm saying as opposed to just rocking with the beat, which is great. But mine's is more of the message behind it.
Yeah, no, I you know what, I completely agree. A lot of hip hop artists out there, singers, people in the music industry, they do have that poetry in them. Like you said, they do a lot of it with the beats.
Yeah.
You don't do yours with the beat, which is totally cool. I mean, that's what poetry is,
That's what it is.
right? That's sort of what makes the difference between that.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it really intriguing and interesting that hip hop and even music inspired you to portray your poetry, on paper. But not only that, I know you've also worked on projects as well, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, let's talk about when you got started.
Sure.
In the whole aspect of things when it comes to the poetry. I understand how you got started. Hip hop sort of inspired you. First of all, were there any inspirations other than hip hop that sort of said, you know what, I want to sit down and write some poetry?
To be honest, it was the sheer fact of boredom on the commute
Yes.
to school and work.
Okay.
And at that time I was using the BlackBerry side scroll. Remember that when you couldn't even play music on it? It was.
I do remember that.
It was the
That
very
was the
old school
brick BlackBerry.
Yeah,
It was like a purplish, bluish kind of color.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So I had that. There's not much you could do except play Brick Breaker. And so,
That's right.
So the next best thing was the notepad. So the 2 2s I started writing
Cool,
or
man.
typing, and kind of developed.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And we all know how boring bus rides can be, no matter what part of the city you're in, and especially if you have to travel far.
It's the TTC.
So what you did was take your time and use it valuably, which I find very admirable, might I say.
Thank you.
Use it very valuably in the sense of creating art.
Yeah,
Right? Because poetry
definitely.
is a form of art, and that's exactly
Definitely.
what you did. You created art. I love it, man. That's totally
Thank you,
cool,
man.
dude.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I want to talk about some projects that you've worked on. I know,
Sure.
and projects in the sense of like I know you've done some shows and
Mhm.
you've done some readings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure,
Some shows, maybe.
it's
Let's
a lot.
start.
Yeah, I've done so many shows. I've started at the Art Bar, which is downtown.
At the Art Bar?
Art Bar, I started
Oh,
there.
Art Bar, cool.
Yeah, Art Bar. Then there was Up from the Roots at the Drake Hotel. They have all these poetry slams, so I
Nice.
started there. And then when I moved, North America, so I went to Miami. I did Speak Miami.
Oh wow, in Miami.
Yeah,
eh?
I went to California. I performed in San Fran very recently.
Nice.
Actually, when I went to Paris, I performed in front of the Eiffel Tower, so that was cool.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, just different.
And that's really cool. So you perform in so many places, and this is just loud readings and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Or reading out loud rather. Poetry slams, you call it, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
that-
cool.
yeah.
Do you do poetry where they snap the fingers at the end?
Yeah, all the shows. They all
do?
that. Oh, yeah,
Really,
yeah,
eh?
yeah.
Can you tell me what that means?
It's just it's like you listen to hip hop, right?
Yes.
So you know what bars are.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you go to a bar and you go, ooh, that was a crazy bar.
Ah.
So it's the same thing when there's a line or a hook that it captures
It captures
people's
you.
ideas. They
And
go,
they'll start slapping. That's
they,
cool,
they,
man.
They can relate to it. So
That's
that's
awesome.
pretty much the same thing.
That's interesting. See, I've seen it so many times throughout my life.
Yeah.
I did not actually know what it meant.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
Nor did I know what it represented. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for clarifying that
Nah,
for me.
bro.
Now I know on a personal level what that actually means.
There you go.
So you've got your poetry out there as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where can they find your poetry?
Well, right now I'm on all the social platforms, so if Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course my personal website, which is a one-stop shop, is virusthepoet.com.
virusthepoet.com, man. I'm
Yeah.
going to definitely
Check
put
that
it up
out.
over here. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see virusthepoet.com on the bottom right-hand corner over there. So make sure you check it out, virusthepoet.com. So on Instagram, you are,
At Virus the Poet. Everything
At
is at
Virus
Virus
Poet?
the Poet.
and YouTube at Virus,
Everything.
YouTube at Virus the Poet.
Everything.
That's cool.
Everything.
And so tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel. Do you actually perform live in front of the camera? What is your YouTube?
No, I don't do that. Most of my YouTube clips are from shows that I've done.
Okay.
They're like live segments of the shows, and I've taken them and I put it on my YouTube channel. I might do it to get on the camera and just do it, but I like to connect with people. So I like doing the live shows,
Of
and
course.
being on the stage,
Of
and
course.
actually getting people's reactions and hearing if they
Yeah,
feel it or not.
absolutely.
And I think that makes for a better video from what I do.
I find that it's kind of comparable. We were talking about hip hop earlier, and I find
Yeah.
it a little bit comparable to a hip hop artist being in a studio recording as opposed to being live in front of
Yeah, it's
people.
a different
you know,
feeling.
of course it is a different feeling. Me myself, I know the feeling because I'm a comedian. I also do stand-up comedy.
Okay, nice.
And being in front of the stage, in front of people, at the very first second, it's very nerve-wracking. But the second you open your mouth, I just find that it's just peace. You know what I mean? It's just you just go in and you do your thing, and everything else you just forget about it. And you obviously react off the crowd
it's
too.
true.
In comedy, at least,
Yeah,
in
for sure.
stand-up comedy. If the crowd is loving it, you're loving it. If the crowd isn't loving it, you've got to change something really quickly. But still feeding off that crowd, having that live energy, I find it definitely helps me out.
Definitely,
For sure.
it's nerve wracking, but it's different.
Yeah, I do want to specifically show here YouTube on the bottom right, Virus the Poet, and on when it comes to Instagram, Virus the Poet, Snapchat.
Twitter. Nope, no Snapchat.
What else do you have?
Twitter, Instagram,
Twitter, Virus the
Facebook.
Poet, Facebook, Virus the Poet. Perfect,
YouTube,
awesome.
yeah.
So yeah, that's cool, man. So we spoke a little bit about what inspired you to get started. We said that it was a little bit of hip hop and a little bit of just being bored on the bus and stuff like that, which I absolutely love. We've spoken about your shows and what was the most favorite place you performed at?
That's a tough one. I don't know. Paris was dope.
Paris,
Because
eh?
Paris, when I was performing in front of I thought people were just kind of standing around and taking it in. That was cool. It was kind of like an
Around the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it was like an impromptu just
Really?
performance. Yeah, and it happened, worked out. So
That's impressive.
that was cool. And then the art bar where I got my first start, that place is definitely one of my favorite spots.
The art bar.
The art bar, yeah.
Cool, man. Where is the art bar?
They were in by the Danforth, and they recently moved. I think they're downtown now. I've been there for a while, but I'm gonna reconnect for sure.
Cool, man. Do you have any upcoming shows?
I do. I have on October 27th.
October 27th. Okay.
October 27th, my buddy DJ DMS, he's hosting a show.
Sorry, that was DJ DMS.
DMS,
Okay.
DJ DMS. He's a producer and he's a DJ. So he puts on these hip hop showcasings
Cool.
for local artists, and he asked me to be on as a featured poet.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm not rapping or anything.
No
but
music in the background.
No, I'm straight a cappella.
Cool, man.
Just going and perform my art and
That's beautiful,
sharing my talent.
That's awesome, man. On a little bit of a personal note, if you don't mind, you said you've been to India. Now, so you are from India yourself, right?
I'm Indian, yeah.
You've been in Canada for quite some time. I mean,
Long time.
we do not talk like this, so it's okay because I'm brown, guys. Don't be going around doing that. So here's the thing. I was born in Africa myself, in East Africa, in Kenya, Nairobi. I moved here when I was 4. You moved here, I believe, when you were 2.
3
years old. Cool,
Yeah.
man. And you moved straight from India, yeah?
Straight from India, straight to Toronto.
Now we were discussing backstage, ladies and gentlemen. What I found really cool is, okay, yes, you're from India, but even though my mom, my dad, my great grandparents, they were all born in East Africa, but our background, like our ancestors before them, were actually born in the same part of India as yourself.
Oh, nice.
Which I totally found totally cool,
That's
man.
cool.
It's from Gujarat.
Yeah.
So we actually speak this. Well, I'm really horrible at it, but Gujarati would be the language
for
that.
sure.
Do you speak it?
Yeah, of
Cool,
course.
man.
Talk to my parents on it. Yeah.
I speak. I used to try to speak it with my grandma, and she would just laugh her ass off. So now I just speak English
it's good
with
comedy
her.
for them.
Yeah, it is definitely comedy, especially for the older folks.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the show on the 27th.
Sure.
Like you said, it's a hip hop show.
It's a hip hop showcase.
And they can find where is that located? Where can they go and check it out?
It's on. It's at Fume Lounge in Mississauga.
Fume Lounge in Mississauga.
Fume
Okay.
Lounge, October 27th.
That is Fume or Fuchsial, sorry.
No, Fume.
Fume,
Fume Bar Lounge. It's
Fume.
at 7195 Tobram Road in Mississauga.
7195.
Tobram Road.
Tobram Road.
Mississauga. It's
Mississauga.
hosted by Quincy Martin. He's an upcoming comedian.
Cool.
Really funny guy. And then music is by DJ DMS, and it's actually brought to you by XD Pro Music. So
Cool.
that's their company, and they host these events. Yeah, it's
Awesome,
cool.
man. Sweet. So, ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to, if you can, check out the show. I mean, hopefully they can get sold out and just build that house up, man.
Definitely. It's all it's great because what they're doing is actually there's not a lot of places that host local talent. There's promoters out there that always want these big names to come back
Yes.
and do shows, which is
Yes.
great, but they don't. In Toronto, at least, I find from my point of view, is not enough local talent support.
Yep.
Which I think is needed much
Absolutely.
more than anything else. Which is shows like yours and what my buddy DMS is doing, hosting shows for local talent
Of course.
so they can get put on and they can get some.
and that's very good and very understandable as well. And like you said, that's the reason why we have this show. There's so much talent out there that is just not represented the way they should be, and even if they don't want to be represented, but they want to be at least known. This is where you do it, man. Even though we're a little bit low right now on numbers when it comes to viewers, we're just at the beginning. I can totally see this show kicking butt, man.
There's always growing pains.
There is growing pains, man, for sure. But at the same time, I love that concept of things, right? Showing and showcasing up and coming talent. And I love also how DJ DMS is doing this show as well, because you're not mixing, but you're doing hip hop, but you're also acknowledging the poetry aspect of things too. So I love that you're even in it in the first place. You know, you're doing that show, and that's how it should be done, ladies and gentlemen.
No, there's some versatility, because when I went to Miami, they had this event called Speak Miami, which is really dope.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll bring it over here. What it is that it's an event. It's kind of like a variety show. So it's not just musicians.
Cool.
It's comedians.
Nice.
It's poets. It's singers. It's instrumentation. It's a little bit of everything. Everything in the arts that you want to bring to the table, that you want to perform. That's the venue. And
when
I went there, it just changed my perspective on a lot of things, and that's why I was like, I want to bring that here.
That's totally cool, man. And you know, there's different things in I guess in this world that inspire you to do what it is you want to do, whether it's poetry or hip hop, or even if you're a poet and you want to do other stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much in the universe. It's up to us to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, for me, T-Dot's talent, I can definitely say I've been thinking about it for a couple of years. I've been telling a lot of people about it, but when you actually make it happen, you know, and I you guys don't even know, but I actually met you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? This is what happens. You meet different people, you make different friends, and not only that, but you expand what the city has to offer. Right now, you only know probably a couple of actors or actresses or even poets that might be famous from our city.
Sure.
Right? But with shows like this, and even the shows that you're going to be doing on October 27th, it's really imperative for at least me to make sure that you help other people out so that they can get recognized the same way I want to get recognized as well.
Definitely.
You know?
Help hand for hand.
Yeah, of course, 100%. You know, and you know what? Honestly, I really do appreciate you coming on the show today, Virus, the poet. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's pleasurable for me to meet individuals like yourself.
Thank you, man. Likewise.
Because Virus, the poet, you know, look, poetry is a huge skill. I know, because in high school I did not do so good at it.
Sure.
So I know it takes skill, and obviously people are liking your stuff because you're doing shows, you're going out there, you're making an awesome sort of is it a hobby living kind of thing, I guess you could say, out of it?
It's definitely a passion, for sure.
Well,
until it gets to a point where
you're expressing your passion, and that's what it is. And you don't know how far that personal thing can take you. You know, personally expressing your passion, doing what you can do, and when you can do it, expressing that in your own way and in your own manner, it can take you so far. You don't know unless if you try, right?
That's what it is. You gotta try.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this: it was definitely a pleasure having you, Virus the Poet,
Thanks
on the
for
show.
Having me on. Appreciate
without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, actually, there is one thing, and there is one favor I do have to ask of you, if that's okay, before we do go. Is it okay, please, if you might be okay to recite a poem for us?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, man.
Definitely.
Sweet. That would be totally cool. Sweet. Yeah. Do you have a name for a poem that you might have in mind?
It's called Aspire.
Aspire.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Aspire.
And it's motivational.
It sounds very motivational.
It should. You know, a lot of my poetry is thought provoking. It's inspirational. It's motivational.
Yes.
I just want people to hear the words and let it resonate with them, and let them go through their emotions and their thought process with what they're hearing or they're reading or watching with my work, and let it be relatable.
Cool, man. I absolutely love it. So Aspire, what made you want to write this particular poem we're about to hear? What inspired you or aspired you to make the poem?
You know what? I don't know. It's just, there's times where you're driving or you're walking or you're, whatever the case is, you kind of get inspiration from anywhere. You draw it from things around you, people around you, situations you've been through. So it kind of just happened, and you're on the road and you find something that inspires you. Pick up your phone, make a quick voice note or write it down, and then go back home and then complete it. And it all has to do with motivation and making yourself believe in yourself, investing in yourself,
aspire in your future.
Yeah, in your future, your current, your present, past, whatever.
Yeah.
And
in life, period. Yeah.
In life,
that's
exactly.
Cool, man.
Exactly.
So I love it. First of all, thank you very much for coming on the show.
I appreciate it.
The pleasure is definitely all mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by. We're about to hear Aspire. It's a poem by Virus the Poet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be totally awesome. We've got Virus the Poet about to recite us a poem. Going to be totally cool. This poem is called
aspire. And what better place to do a poem or recite a poem as opposed to the outdoors? You have to do it in the outdoors. Why not? It's so peaceful. It's very naturous. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome to you Virus the poet, and the poem is called Aspire.
Motivated with aspirations, never clueless, only clued in with no moderation. Perspectives inspired by new foundations, no reservation, but the misled need to be fed. The helplessness is transparent, this is apparent, all that's needed to be said. However, to those that think they're too clever, there's more than meets the eye, far from never. The land where positivity runs free, and the pessimistic mindset gets trapped through speed. Planted seeds that grow an inch and then die through freeze. Please, do not bend your curiosity. Enlarge your ideology to a place where hesitation is lost at sea. Define that strength that moves mountains as big as the Himalayas and flies through space like the rockets, see? This is creed, passion and heart overcoming all odds of defeat. Sheer strength in the person you see in the mirror as those eyes glare signs of no fear. Channel that inner tiger, lion or cub, regardless of the size. You can always lift more than a shrub. Virus the poet.